Boxing in association with BWTM Sports, a new boxing game coming out on PC, Xbox, and PS4. Check out our playlist currently on BWTM Sports for all the latest updates on Round for Round Boxing. Round for Round Boxing show is back tonight, Thursday, and we'll be having back on the show Henry Armstrong's grandson, Edward Scott Jr., for another exclusive look at another round for round fighter being revealed. Okay, we'll see you then for round boxing. But as of now, let's get to business. Now, thank you so much for tuning in once again. Welcome to BWTM Sports in association with Round for Round Boxing. I keep saying it, but check it out. Our playlist has got all the fighters that have been signed so far. We are the exclusive and only channel on YouTube that have got the exclusive information for Round Boxing. Tonight we'll be breaking another exclusive to you all. Join us later tonight. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and please share the videos. We really appreciate you watching from around the world. The title is quite an ominous one for me. It's Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora 2, the road to absolutely nowhere. See, I like Dillian and I like Dereck. I think they've done a lot for British boxing. The pair of them, they both have had their ups and their downs, and they both have got, as far as I'm concerned, what it takes to bounce back ability. There are some guys within the world of boxing, great fighters, that once they get beat, they're never the same fighter. Prince Nazim Hamed, when he got beat for the first time in his career by Barrera, he was never the same fighter after that. Some people, once they lose the O, they're never the same fighter. Dereck Chisora, you know, he's lost, he's come back, he's lost, he's come back, he's been outboxed, he's been outmatched, he's been outclassed, he's come back. Dillian Whyte got knocked out when he was unfit and really not in the right shape to fight Anthony Joshua. Got knocked out, suffered humiliation after all the stuff he spoke, came back, and has got back-to-back wins now, and he's moved himself up the heavyweight division. Say what you want about him not fighting Luis Ortiz. That's his prerogative. If he wanted to fight Luis Ortiz, he fought Joseph Parker, and fair play to him for fighting Joseph Parker. You see, we can't have it both ways. On one side of the coin, you've got a David Price who will make decisions to fight anybody and everybody anytime. And you've seen how that's been disastrous for his career. Dillian Whyte, I'm going to talk about Dillian Whyte first. Fans can talk all they want. They can say, oh, well, you know, fight Luis Ortiz, fight Luis Ortiz, fight Luis Ortiz. For one side of the crowd that will talk about Luis Ortiz, you see, with Luis Ortiz, you've got the opportunity here. With a lot of fans here, they've got an excuse. With Luis Ortiz, you jump on one fence, you say, he's too old, and, you know, he got beat by Deontay Wilder. But on the flip side, you'll say, Luis Ortiz, one of the best heavyweights in the world, and he's got a big punch, and he's a real good boxer. So which one is it? If you beat Luis Ortiz, oh, well, you know what? Deontay Wilder beat him. And if you look at Deontay Wilder, some of you say, Wilder's a bum. So why do you fight Luis Ortiz? If you fight Joseph Parker, you're going to get paid more money. It's a pay-per-view fight. Well, it's deemed as a pay-per-view fight in this era. And don't let anybody tell me that, it wasn't a pay-per-view fight between Whyte and Parker. Well, bloody hell. If Kell Brook versus Frankie Gavin is pay-per-view, then Dillian Whyte deserves to have a pay-per-view bout. So that's it. I don't want to hear anything about that. any codswallop about it's not pay-per-view. We're in an era where everything's pay-per-view. Going to the toilet's going to soon be pay-per-view. Your paper crap. That's what it is. Because the whole model of what pay-per-view was, big events, major events, that has gone out the window. We're not in an era like that. We're in an era now where we are filling up the casuals. As simple as that. Now, Dillian Whyte. I'm from an era where British, Commonwealth, European, world. I'm from an era where prospect, challenger, champion. And when from prospect to challenger, during that time, while you're prospect to challenger, you meet somebody around the career, an experienced American or somebody from Hungary. You meet somebody in your career at that point in time, which give you some rocky moments. You know, makes you have to duck and dive. You might get rocked in a fight. Your punch bounces off the person. The person's quicker than you, might be stronger than you, hustles you a bit, gives you some difficult propositions, but you still come through to get that world title fight. When you're watching Dillian Whyte against Lucas Brown and you see him knock out Lucas Brown, you go, that's his world title elimination bout. Yeah, he's going to be fighting for the world title next. And you're like, if you're a Dillian Whyte fan and you're paying to watch Dillian Whyte fight and you expect him to fight for the world title, you're like, come on, Dillian. So he beats Brown and like, Dillian Whyte shut up. Oh, Wilder, where are you? Let's go. Let's go. And the whole crowd have paid for that to see Dillian Whyte fight Wilder. They got it in their minds. Dillian Whyte's going to fight Wilder. Dillian Whyte's going to fight Wilder. No. And I said it before, Dillian Whyte had taken a wild goose chase. From Dillian Whyte there, he now ends up fighting Joseph Parker. So again, Dillian Whyte, he's going to fight Wilder after this fight. He's going to get a world title fight. He almost gets knocked out in the last minute of the fight. So he scrambles up off his feet, to get to the end of the fight. Okay. He gets the unanimous points decision. A lot of people thought Parker was going to beat Dillian Whyte. I told you here, Parker's got no defense. You know, boxing fans, the less knowledgeable ones like to add things on. Like, I don't know, like they customize their boxes. Like, Parker had no defense. Parker had no answer to a left hook. But suddenly, I don't know, over the fight between the Joshua fight and then the Dillian Whyte fight, suddenly he's worked on his defense. He's going to have a bigger heart, and he's going to avoid the left hook, and he's not going to pull back in straight lines. You know, boxing fans just seem to have these buttons where they push buttons and suddenly fighters develop all the skill. No, not going to happen. Not in the window or the gap there was between the Joshua fight and then Dillian Whyte fight. Wasn't going to happen. So, of course, Parker finds himself on the canvas. And, you know, that was the first time that happened in Parker's career. As you've heard many times by his manager. What's his name? I thought his name is Dave. Or I can't remember what the guy's name is. His promoter. That's how much I care at the moment. So I kind of feel sorry for Dillian Whyte. I said it before. I said it a long time ago. Dillian Whyte needs to leave Eddie Hearn and Matchroom and go to Frank Warren, because he'll have a clearer vision. I said this years ago. I said, if I'm Dillian Whyte after I get beat by Anthony Joshua and I'm looking for that rematch, I'm asking my promoter, or I'm asking him, okay, what is the vision? What is the plan? Where do you expect me to get to? How is I fight this guy, this guy? Can you guarantee me a world title shot after these 3 fights? Can you guarantee me a world title shot? And then you've got people across the internet universe that goes, oh, Hearn, best promoter in the world, Eddie Hearn, you're a Hearn hater. No, I'm just going by what I see. And what I see is a promoter who has not delivered. Now watch this. Whyte now has to, it's rumored now Whyte is going to fight Chisora in December. If you're a Chisora fan and you saw Chisora take a heck of a beating over against Takam and then him land that one punch and knock Takam out, as a Chisora fan, you're like, yeah, let's get this guy a bloody world title shot. So you've got two guys there that should go and fight for a world title. Dillian Whyte, why can't he fight Manwar Shah? What's wrong with Manwar Shah and fighting for a world title? Why can't they get that fight going? Why can't Chisora fight the guy? There's another WBA belt floating around at the moment. Why can't Chisora get a fight against one of those guys? Why does Chisora and Whyte have to fight again? Why? Because it's got to make pay-per-view numbers. That's what it seems like. It's to fit the quota of pay-per-view for the year. So to end the pay-per-view at the end of the year, Chisora versus Dillian Whyte 2. If Eddie hasn't delivered, then who has? Don't listen. I'm talking about these two guys. One of these guys has a world title shot. At the end of the Brown fight, he was meant to be getting a world title fight. He didn't get it. At the end of the Parker fight, he was meant to get a world title fight. He didn't get it. So what do you talk about delivery? Delivery is based, as far as I'm concerned, on if you go. I remember back in the day when a contender was fighting for a world title eliminator, the next fight was a world title fight, and that was that. You fought, you got yourself into position for a world title shot, and that was it. You got your world title shot. I don't understand this business of fight this guy to fight this guy, this world title eliminator to that world title eliminator, and then finally go back. No, you're still going back to nowhere because okay, Chisora beats Whyte. So what? Whyte beats Chisora. So what? What does it mean? What does it mean in what does it mean something in Britain? That North beats South or South beats North, but none of them are going to be fighting for a world title. Really? So Chisora beats Whyte. Okay. Is Chisora interested in getting a world title fight? No, he said it himself. All I care about is money. So Whyte should be avoiding a Chisora fight and looking to fight Manwar Shah because he wants to become a world champion. He wants to become a world champion. But what's he fighting for apart from money? He wants to become a world champion. So why not have him fight for the world title? Now they're talking about Whyte fighting Joshua in April next year. That again is as far as I'm concerned, it's on a hope and a prayer. You're hoping and praying that Joshua beats Povetkin, and that's no guarantee. One right hand and left hook, and that's the end of Dillian Whyte getting that fight against Joshua. He may then have to end up going and fighting Povetkin. So there's no guarantees here. So for me, I don't see what the point in this fight is. What does it prove? Whyte beats Chisora, Chisora beats Whyte. What does it prove? I mean, that fight that Chisora had against Takam, that must have taken a heck of a lot out of Dereck Chisora. I don't think he'll ever be the same fighter again after that. So, all right. Dereck Chisora gets beat by Dillian Whyte. What are people going to say? Oh, you beat Chisora. Well, Chisora's already been beat by Tyson Fury, and he's got beat by the European champion. And, oh, he got knocked out by David Hayes. So Dillian Whyte ain't getting no credit for that. Chisora beats Whyte. Well, we thought you beat him in the first fight anyway. To me, it's a fight of nothing, of nowhere. Just a money grab, personally. And like I said, I think these two guys need to be fighting. They should be guiding a different paths. At least one of them fight for a world title and try and win a world title. Even what I would like to see is either Whyte or Chisora. Probably Dillian Whyte, because I think between the two of them, Whyte's going to be more professional in getting his body in shape for a fight. With Dereck Chisora, you never know how he's going to roll up for a fight. You know if he's going to roll up in shape, out of shape, motivated, demotivated. Chisora's too inconsistent. So Dillian Whyte is the guy I would take to challenge for a world title against Manwar Shah. He'll fight with his heart on his sleeve. He'll go for it. So Dillian Whyte fights Manwar Shah in a fight. I think that he can beat Manwar Shah. He becomes WBA title champion. And then you can set a big money fight between world champion Dillian Whyte against Dereck Chisora. Now that makes sense. Chisora gets a world title shot. Dillian Whyte gets to make money his first defense of his world title against. And then that sets up a fight next year in April against AJ, who's calling himself unified champion. Then he can pick up another belt if that's the case, or Whyte gets a chance to fight for the unified title, and in the process cleans up another belt as well. That makes more sense to me. I don't see what's so difficult about that. You can see where Eddie is going. Wilder and AJ won't be in April. He's tied up with Fury. Hearn will be hoping Whyte will win then and set up at April. I'm not keen on back-to-back rematches, AJ versus Huey. You can see that. I can see Huey doing a number on Pulev. And if Huey beats Pulev, then what's going to happen there? Then Huey becomes a mandatory for Joshua. So what are they going to do then? Are they going to... What happens then? But it all depends if Joshua beats Povetkin. And again, that is no certainty that Joshua beats Povetkin. Keep saying this. No certainty. The AJ title fight is always there, but we all know the roadblocks for Whyte having a shot at WBC. But like you said, let's hope he gets the April date. Wilder won't fight AJ because of the Fury rematch. Well, if Wilder goes out there and absolutely splatters Fury, do you really want to watch a rematch? For example, Wilder goes out there and he lays Fury out like he knocked out Sergey Lakovic, do you really want to see that? Would you really want to see a rematch like that? Or he lays out Fury like he laid out Stavern. Do you really want to see that rematch? Rematch is only dependent on whether it's viable. I mean, if a guy gets, a guy's winning a fight, gets caught with a lucky shot, maybe, or the decision goes to decision, you're thinking, he could have won that. Fine. Like Canelo, GGG, yeah, I get that as a rematch. But if you get absolutely not sparko, I mean, and you weren't even in the fight, who wants to see a rematch? Why does somebody want to see you get knocked out again? I mean, I don't get that. Like, when Bruno fought Mike Tyson the second time, and Bruno was world champion, WBC champion, and Mike did him in 3 rounds, faster than he did the first time round. And it took Mike 5 rounds to beat Bruno the first time. Second time around, Bruno was world champion, and Bruno had a clause in his contract for Bruno to fight Mike and rematch clause. Who wants to see Bruno again against Tyson for a third time? You see what I mean? It's just rematches only work if there's some controversy involved. But if you get knocked sparko, nobody wants to see a rematch. Like you said, it's all about money. Whyte said if there's no money in the Char fight, he'll make almost double fighting Chisora. Yeah, but I understand that. But why? Why? Just imagine now, you got dropped by Parker in that last fight. Imagine that right hand from Takam, that Chisora hit Takam with, hitting Dillian Whyte on the chin. I'm just saying, why do you want to put yourself in that sort of a situation? For what? I just think it's bad management. Personally, I said, no. Yes, you'll get more money. You'll get more money up front, but the back end, forget about the money up front. Get the back end. Get a world title. Then you can make double or quadruple the amount of money against AJ in a unification bout. That's why David Haye skipped out of the fight against Vitaly Klitschko. He's meant to fight Vitaly Klitschko for the title. Skipped out the Vitaly Klitschko fight and jumped and fight for the WBA title against Valiev. That's why he did that. So he could come to the table and negotiate. If Dillian Whyte wants to come to the table and negotiate, and Dillian, I hope you're watching this. If you want to come to the table, I know it's about money, and I get that. But why not fight Manwar Shah? Take the pay cut, fight Manwar Shah, get the WBA title in your hand. You are both. You are a world champion. I believe that's the same belt that David Haye had. The same belt, I believe, Povetkin had as well. You're a world champion. Have that belt. Nobody goes, oh well, it's only a belt on the side. It's the same belt that David Haye had, that everyone was ranting and raving about. The same belt that Povetkin had. So fight for the belt, get the world title. I know it's not a super championship. Who gives a shit? Get the WBA title, win the WBA title, and then use it as some sort of negotiating. Sit in the WBA rankings and pick off the WBA fighters. Headline your shows as WBA champion. Sounds smart to me. Be your own man. Don't need to be under the shadow of AJ. Leave. Whyte needs more distance fights. 10, 12 rounders. He's still not 100%. He's improving massively this year, and you could see the weak links in the later rounds against Parker. Agreed. Whyte beating Chisora is purely for pay-per-view money. The event, the hype, then this shot in April at Wembley for world title. All these pay-per-views for Dillian makes good business. Then, even if it's Povetkin. Mate, Povetkin. That's a different proposition. You remember, Dillian knows Joshua. He don't know Povetkin. He don't want to know Povetkin. And Povetkin does a number on Joshua. Don't look to see Povetkin and Whyte. No. Still gets his shot. Agreed, TJ. Even if it's the 0-2 for world title against Povetkin, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. It's the same process you guys had when I said Dillian Whyte shouldn't be fighting AJ, but you still took it. It's a damaging effect afterwards. Guys, you need to manage your career. You want to get the shortest route to the world title. You've got Manuel Shah, who's a vulnerable world champion. What the heck does Chisora bring you? Yeah, it brings you money. It don't bring you no world glory. Pick up the championship against Manuel Shah. Make your first defense against Dereck Chisora. You make even more money against Dereck Chisora. Headline bout. World heavyweight champion comes home. You know, fights at home in London against Dereck Chisora, his arch nemesis. That's how you build it. Damn, come on. See the dream. I thought Whyte versus Brazil would have been decent. No. Why do you want to fight Brazil? That's another shootout. Why do you want to fight Brazil? Brazil doesn't get you closer to a world title shot. Heck, Brazil got jumped, leapfrogged by Fury to fight Wilder. That's how much Brazil matters. Who cares for Dominic Brazil? Honestly, who cares for Dominic Brazil? Honestly. He beats Parker. You and AJ beat him already. He beats Brazil. You're beating AJ's leftovers. Really? Go and fight. Go and fight Manuel Shah. Go and fight in his backyard. Go pick up the title. Build your own story. Forget AJ. Pick up your own belt and go your own way. Warren's, and there's another thing. You see this thing about, well, you're going to fight in April. Hold on. What about Hughie Fury? He's got IBF. What about if the IBF said that Joshua's got to fight Fury next? Yeah? What about if Fury beats Pulev? And then if they talk about April, what about in April, it's Hughie Fury that's fighting Anthony Joshua? Because the IBF have said, you don't fight him, you will have to vacate your belt. Dillian Whyte gets pushed to the side. Guess what? Matchroom fighter gets pushed to the side. Has to defend against Hughie Fury. No. Go down the WBA route. Warren said there's a rematch. And Wilder has said himself he won't fight AJ in April. If there isn't a rematch due to Fury getting sparked out Cole, then who's Wilder going to pick as his next opponent? Dominic Brazil? There's your answer, Dominic Brazil. Or if they can't get AJ versus Hughie Fury, then Hughie Fury versus Deontay Wilder. It's a family affair, they'll sell it. And get Hughie Fury to fight Deontay Wilder next. If Wilder knocks out Tyson, then cousin Hughie has to come and save the family name. There you go. There's a script right there for you. And it's not like there haven't been talks before about Hughie Fury and Deontay Wilder. Another Brit versus another American. Come on, they want to see that faster than seen. What Wilder versus Brazil. He will get his shot in late 2019. Dillian makes more money and has history. I think Shah is tied up with Fresequendo's situation. Yeah, let him be tied up all he wants. If that's the case, let Dillian Whyte fight somebody in WBA that is not ranked that highly, and let Dillian Whyte have a blowout fight, and let him go fight. When Fresequendo and Charles sorted out, let Dillian Whyte's next fight be for a world title, and let the people of Brixton and South London celebrate. Dillian Whyte is fighting for a world title. Finally, Dillian Whyte is fighting for a world title. You're talking rubbish, bro. Dillian probably was sitting back saying, "You're talking rubbish, boy. You're talking rubbish." But I want no world title shot. I want money. I want to get paid. I want dollars. That's what probably Dillian's saying all now. You know what? Funny enough, I had a dream about Dillian Whyte last night. I had a weird dream. I was in a car with Dillian Whyte, and we were talking. And Dillian Whyte was sitting next to us. He was in the car. He was driving. I said, "Dillian," he said, "Yeah, what's up, bro?" I said, "When are we gonna do that interview?" He went, hush boy. He went, "Hush boy." I said, "Let me think about it. I said, "But Dillian, we should be doing this interview." Yeah, don't worry, bro. More time. Look at more time. It's all right. So he's driving the car, and he's taking me into this. He's taking me to this warehouse. That's got a massive warehouse, mechanics. I'm like, "What are we doing at mechanics, Dillian?" He goes, more time. I said, "What?" And he's got to pick up some shorts at this mechanics. I'm like, "All right." So basically, Dillian's taking me to all these different places, and we're all having this conversation. Dillian, when we're doing this interview, he's like, "Yeah, look at more time. And he says, "You hungry?" I said, "Yeah. Come and get some food." So me and Dillian sit down eating food together. I said, "Dillian, when are we going to do this interview?" He says, look at more time. I said, "Dillian, you're talking rubbish." And he started laughing at me. And that was the end of the dream. So yeah, whatever. It was just a random dream. Maybe White sees Shah's belt as nothing but an interim belt. Plus, the WBA belt doesn't guarantee a shot at AJ. And the AJ fight is always there for White without him needing a belt. Yeah, but there you go. You see, for me, you got a choice. You're either a brand or you're not a brand. I didn't know that Dillian Whyte and AJ came out of the same mother's womb. And Dillian Whyte has to... The only reason why Dillian Whyte and AJ has got that sort of thing is because they're both in the same stable. If Dillian Whyte went out and fought, was with Frank Warren, it would be a different matter altogether. Frank would get him that fight against Shah. I bet you if he was Frank Warren, he'd get that fight with WBA. Bet you. I bet you any money he'll get that fight with WBA. Frank was like, "Right, we're going to go down there. We're going to get the Shah fight. We're going to get the Shah fight. We'll get you 4 or 5 fights. We'll build you up. We'll get money in. We'll get some money in. We'll get you getting fights. We'll build you up a bit. And then we'll get you in a unification bout." That's how Frank would do it. Look at Frank's record. He did it with Kawasaki. Look what he did with Hatton. Had Hatton fight for that. Remember that WBU belt he had? Hatton had those WBU title fights, and he was building himself up, and then he went and fought Kostya for the world title. Frank did it with Kawasaki with the WBO title. Frank's done it. Frank knows what he's doing. So Frank Warren and Dillian Whyte, great combination, I think. Great combination. A circus full of electricians couldn't spark Fury. He beats Polev. And this script, Ingram, is realistic talk. He will give AJ nightmares next year or expect AJ to vacate. Yeah, with the IBF situation, of course. But now Hughie Fury against Povetkin. Oh, Lord. Now that is a fight. Fury versus Povetkin. It's about Fury using that jab and movement. He's slick. It's good, damn good fight. That's more of a dangerous fight than Mr. Pulev, because Pulev's not, for me, he's not a puncher. Povetkin can punch with both hands, and he's dangerous. But yeah, you know, all these pay-per-views, I think boxing fans, old school boxing fans, we're losing the dream. Where is the whole dream about seeing the fighter that you like working his way up the rankings and becoming a world champion? Where is all that? Why do we have to get caught up in all these circus acts? Dillian Whyte, Chisora is a circus act. That's what it is. People want to see more tables fly, and Chisora and Whyte scuffling in a. That's what people want. The fight per se is a good fight, right? It's a good fight, but very rarely do rematches live up to the expectation of a first fight, because you know the guy in for the rematch. So it's like Canelo GGG. I expect Canelo to get in his bike even more for this second fight, because he says, you know what? If I just get on my bike and I throw more punches, I win this fight. So I find it very hard for me to say, Whyte, Chisora, it's going to be even better. I can't see that. And I don't see how it can be any better. Chisora just had a war with Takam and looked like he was getting the crap beaten out of him until he brought that punch out of nowhere, quite literally, because no one expected it. And Dillian Whyte had a quite comfortable fight against Parker. So you tell me. No one wants to see Whyte versus Del Boy. Hearn should be working his ass off to get Whyte mandatory for WBC. Make Whyte versus Brazil. Why do you want that? Why do you want? I thought he already was mandatory. And he's got a bloody silver title. He's got a WBC silver title. So that should give him more credibility or more clout than bloody Brazil. What's Brazil got? Apart from 2 fists and tall. What's Brazil got? What has Brazil got to offer Dillian Whyte? Dillian Whyte is a WBC champion. He's WBC silver champion. So that allows him to have a certain ranking. Who is Whyte going to unify with if he can't get WBC title fight? He unifies and gets a WBA title off of Shah. And then Shah belt doesn't make mandatory for WBA super belt. Damn, there's just too many belts. Yeah, but if you forget Joshua for a second. Forget Joshua. Dillian Whyte gets a WBA belt. He then has the opportunity to say, you know what? Wilder, let's go. Let's go. So there'll be another fighter that basically has said, suck 2 fingers up at Joshua, and he goes and fights Wilder. Whyte versus Wilder. Unification fight. WBA champion meets WBC champion. Why not? Or if Fury beats Wilder and becomes WBC champion and he absolutely smashes Wilder into tomorrow, you can have Fury, the Gypsy King's return against the new WBA champion. Champion versus champion. Dillian Whyte, WBA champion. Tyson Fury, WBC champion. Who wants it? Fury, Whyte, unification. And the winner of that, Whyte, Fury, fights Anthony Joshua or Povetkin for all the belts. Come on, talk to me. Boxing fans, talk to me. There you've got, I've just built it there for you. Satanik isn't complaining. They would make 1,000 belts a month if they could. Whyte versus Shah, Chisora versus Miller. Yeah, okay, that's cool. But Wilder wants nothing to do with Whyte. It's a dead-end road. No, I don't know about that. I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I think they'll fight. If Wilder beats Fury, or absolutely nails Fury, or Fury absolutely nails Wilder, that's out of the way. Then you've got Fury or Wilder. But okay, put Wilder ones there. Let's say, for Fury fanboys out there, Fury destroys Wilder. Let's put it that way. And Fury's there, and Whyte beats Char for the WBA. You've got Fury Whyte. What's the matter? Unification bout. You complain about unification bout? Come on. Alan Sanchez says, when will we get gameplay for round? Not sure yet, but we will get more news tonight for you, round for round, a little later tonight. But 2019 is when the game's coming out. WBC copper and bronze belts 2019. No, he doesn't want a copper. He needs to have gold. I just tuned in. The problem with Matchroom's current stuff is that they have dates to fill up with pay-per-view slots rather than making a fight pay-per-view when it's merited. It's a false economy. I agree with you there, my friend. I just said why this fight is happening. It's simply happening because they're just trying to fill those pay-per-view dates. A mouth-watering contest. That's what it's for. Teddy is a part of a group called Transitional Boxing Rankings. Check out what they are about. Say about belts and divisions. Interesting stuff. Yes, Reverend. I have seen it. And I've seen the website before and seen the stuff they're doing. Some good stuff there. I do like it. But yeah, I build the dream, boxing fans. Don't get sucked into these promoters' garbage. Absolute garbage. Let's try and sell us. And that's why this sport is becoming a mockery. Because what you want here is a table and chairs match. Whyte and Chisora. I mean, you could make Chisora and Whyte and put it in the UFC and it would sell. Just saying. I mean, they're rolling around the floor as it is. I mean, they might as well get paid for that, right? I just think the whole thing's it's a mockery, an absolute mockery of pay-per-view. Yeah, pay-per-view, yeah. Dillian Whyte, Chisora 2, December. So I hear. Not good. Not good. Not good. The only way Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora 2 should be pay-per-view is if Kell Brook agrees to fight Amir Khan and Amir Khan picks up the balls to fight Kell Brook. That's the only way Dereck Chisora versus Dillian Whyte 2 should be pay-per-view. That's it. That's it. Whyte is probably vacating the WBC silver belt as he keeps paying them sanctioning fees for nothing. Whyte should fight Brazil and beat him and see what the decision the WBC makes for Wilder. No, you should not. No, 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 no. Why are you fighting Dominic Brazil? Why are you fighting Dominic Brazil? Answer me one guy Dominic Brazil has beaten. I'm still waiting. Izu Ugono, who was untested. The Mansour fight, well, that was questionable. Who has Dominic Brazil really beaten? I mean, people pull these names out, but who has Dominic Brazil beaten? Who has Dominic Brazil beaten? Dillian Whyte has just beaten Joseph Parker, Lucas Brown. Who has Brazil beaten? Who has Brazil beaten? Why should he fight Brazil? See, you're falling into that trap of what these promoters do. Just to keep Dillian Whyte busy for AJ. Without really having any vision. Where's the vision in that? If you're telling me that WBC are constantly not giving Dillian Whyte the attention, okay, drop the WBC belt and go with the WBA. Fight for a WBA Intercontinental title, get yourself in the top 10 and fight. Force that WBA fight. You know, Frank will force the fight. The guy that fought the other night, he beat Charlie Martin. Yeah, he beat Charles Martin. Yeah. I mean, you laugh, but I would have had Dillian Whyte fight someone like Charles Martin as a defense for his title. Yeah. Fun fight. Charles Martin walks he walks the earth like a god. Take the fight. Not that dangerous a fight. I would have taken that. No, absolutely not. The guy that fought Charles Martin against Dillian Whyte, absolutely no, thank you. Why? Why? Did you know? It's like, why do you want? If you're managing your fighter, if you care about your fighter, why do you want to stick them in fire, which is unnecessary? There's fire they have to go through anyway. Why are you sticking them in unnecessary hard fights? For what purpose? If your fighter's going to go for a hard fight, let him go for a hard fight when he's a world champion. Why do you want to put him in a hard fight? Why do you want him against a shooter against Dominic Brazil? Dude, you win nothing by fighting Dominic Brazil. Absolutely nothing. It's a shootout. You beat Dominic Brazil. Yeah, but Anthony Joshua beat him. So he says, oh, yeah, but Vivek can beat Shah. I don't give a damn. I just want the title. Del Boy deserves Whyte after Takam. Why? Now that Whyte's got pay-per-view money for fighting Parker, he now has an overinflated valuation of himself. It makes fights difficult to happen without the pay-per-view money in the future. It's bad for boxing. That's a good sense there, David, there. Who's the donkey now, too? I think you make an excellent point there. Look, there seems to be this. Why should he fight Shah as the only sees it as an interim belt? Well, it's not an interim belt, is it? It's not an interim belt. It's a full-blown WBA belt. It wasn't interim when Hay had it. It wasn't interim when Povetkin had it. So why has it become interim now? It's not interim. The other belt that they have, those two guys fought the other day, is an interim belt. There's the interim belt, there's this WBA regular title, and then there's super champion. Okay? And when he gets a regular championship, I believe there's a rule by the WBA that means a regular champion's got to fight the super champion. That's why Jacobs and Golovkin fought. So they become from regular champion to super champion, I believe. Something like that in the WBA. But still, as far as I'm concerned, if you're a fan of your fighter, if you really care about your fighter, then you want to see him fight, become British champion, whatever, European champion, and fight for world honours. I didn't know world honours only ended up at Anthony Joshua. You see, you just all stuck in this Anthony Joshua thing. There are many routes to a world title. He could go down the Deontay Wilder route. Okay, that's not working. Let's go down the WBA route. Let's see if we can get that WBA title. But I just think, to me, I don't know, but that's not an interim belt. WBA regular is meaningless in today's heavyweight division. Listen, meaningless to you behind a keyboard. It's not meaningless to somebody who's a world champion. It's not meaningless when you're going to sponsors. It's not meaningless if you're trying to brand yourself. It's not meaningless if you're trying to put yourself in history. It's not meaningless when you're going to the table to negotiate. But because you're neither going to fight for a world title, neither be at a negotiating table with a WBA title, then that's why you talk the way you talk. But if you're going to be at a negotiating table, you take the WBA title, watch what David Hay did. Nobody really recognized Hay as a genuine world champion. But because of David Hay's charisma, because of the way David Hay sold himself, David Hay was smart. He got the WBA title off of Valiev and made 2 quick defenses for Ruiz and for Harrison. 2 pay-per-view events. Or I think they were pay-per-view. Yeah. And then he fought Klitschko in a unification bout. Klitschko didn't want to know about Hay. So Hay said, all right, I'm going to go and get the WBA title. When I got the WBA title, he was going to fight Vitaly Klitschko. He said, no, forget that. That's too difficult. Let me go fight the WBA title. That's what Whyte's got to do. I didn't hear anybody say at the time, well, that's a meaningless title that he's fighting against Valiev. I didn't see that. I didn't hear anybody say that. It was like, David Hay, heavyweight champion of the world. And everyone's jumping up about it. So now it's Dillian Whyte. It's, oh, yeah, well, that belt now. Same belt that David Hay had. Is now, it's just an interim belt. No. He becomes world champion. He then markets himself as world champion and then could fight a Fury and then could go for Wilder. He's got more to negotiate with. At the moment, he ain't got much to negotiate with apart from what Eddie is putting out for him. That's what it seems to me. Ballistic Cat says, heavyweights, I believe, are in a golden era. So many good matchups happening, but Whyte needs a title fight. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I agree with that so much. Let's be real. If there's another belt above it from the same going body, then it's nothing but an interim. No. You can't make it up as you go along, Bart's MB. There is an interim belt. I agree with you, but that's not the belt he's going for. When did the Shah belt become an interim belt? Did that just become a decision because you made it up? It's not an interim belt. There's a belt that I think Travis Scott or somebody fought for a title about 2 weeks ago for a WBA belt. That was the interim belt. What Shah's got is a regular belt, and what Joshua's got is a super champion belt. And by the way, just going back to the super champion belt, Why was that a unification bout between Klitschko and him? Because as far as I'm concerned, I remember back then, it wasn't a unification bout because Klitschko got beat by Fury. And then the belt became vacant. So the WBA super title was vacated. So Joshua and Klitschko fought for a vacated belt. Am I correct? I mean, you might be wrong there. Whyte's picking up all the scraps after losing to AJ. He will get his turn if he keeps winning. WBA Super Champion makes regular obsolete. So, all right, if that's the case, obsolete to you behind a keyboard. You have no idea about branding. You have no idea about marketing. You have no idea about negotiating. See, that's why you'd make a terrible manager. You've probably been advising David Price. Yeah, Trevor Bryant got the interim. Yeah. So Trevor Bryant did. That's it. Trevor Bryant. I was right. Thank you very much for that, Mick D. It was Trevor Bryant. Imagine Whyte claiming he's WBA world champion while AJ stands next to him with the WBA super belt. Whyte definitely doesn't want that. Wait, hold on. Didn't Danny Jacobs have the WBA regular belt and Golovkin have the WBA super belt? What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? I swear, you know, people just make things up as they go along. Just like, oh, well, I'm not going to see that because that's exactly what happened there. I'm not going to see that. What part of the fence are you on? Are you on a part of the fence that you are so blinded that what the promoter says goes? Or are you on the set, or are you on the other side of the fence where it's fight and make as much money as possible, but also gets to live their dream to become world heavyweight champion? You could talk about obsolete, you could talk about this and that. Ultimately, the WBA title, Dillian Whyte wins it. It says WBA heavyweight champion of the world. When David Haye, people still recognize David Haye as WBA heavyweight champion of the world. That's it. Despite the fact that Klitschko may have been walking around with a super belt, David Haye was considered WBA champion. When Klitschko fought Povetkin, Klitschko was considered as the champion. Povetkin was a belt holder. I don't give a damn if I'm managing Dillian Whyte, I say, I don't care what the boxing public say about you being a interim belt holder. Forget all that crap. Get the belt for me, please. Thank you very much. You're WBA champion? Great. We're going to be making some defenses. My job for you is to get you as much money as possible. We're going to get you that WBA belt, right? And we're going to make you a WBA champion. And we're going to get you making defenses. We're going to get you to go to America. You're going to make defenses in America. We're going to get you, and we'll get you a couple of fights defending America, then come back here. Imagine Dillian Whyte defending his WBA title against Brian Jennings. There's a fight there in America. Good fight. WBA championship. Good fight in America. Making money. I'd love to see Dillian Whyte, stepping out, being announced by Michael Buffer. Heavyweight, WBA, heavyweight champion of the world, Dillian, the body snatcher, Whyte. I'd love to hear that. Out in Vegas, or Atlantic City, or in New York, or in, not so much Philly. In New York, Barclays Center, Dillian Whyte coming out, world champion. Part with the British flag on him, part with the Jamaican flag on him. WBA champion, the belt that you call obsolete. The reason why people don't give the WBA belt that much credence is because of who's holding it. Nobody gives a damn about Manuel Shah, and that's got a lot to do with it. Why are we recognizing two champions in the same division for the same? Oh, there's Ruben Guerrero, whatever. What happens if Whyte fights Wilder or Joshua this year? They will knock Whyte out in the late rounds. He needs more rounds, or is this money more important? I swear, you're on your own tangent, Reverend. I just mentioned about 2 minutes ago he should fight Shah and then make defense with a WBA title. That's where he gets those rounds. I swear you're not listening. Ingram, people are only saying Brazil for White, so makes WBC makes him mandatory. That makes shit. Doesn't mean crap. Isn't Brazil the mandatory at the moment? Fury's jumped over there. What the hell are you talking about? It don't make a difference. The WBC make the rules up the way they want to do it. The way the WBC want to do things, they'll do it. Let White fight for the WBA. He was meant to fight, wasn't he? Well, did he fight Brown for the final eliminator? And there was a final eliminator against Parker. What does that tell you? Move off from that. Move off from that. Eddie Hearn probably Suleiman probably say he ain't fighting for no WBA title. Just string him along. String him along. He ain't fighting for the WBA title. They've probably got a whole plan of who's going to fight next. And White doesn't even come into the conversation. No. He needs to go with Frank Warren. I've said it already. White can't fight Char. Fezquendo's situation sorted. It's very simple. Chisora fight first, then money, then AJL Povetkin. No, go fight Trevor Bryant. Go fight Trevor Bryant for interim title. Fight Trevor Bryant for the interim title, and then go and fight Char for the world title. That solves that problem. Jennings is a good fight actually, and America could be a great cap. Is a great. There you go. Brazil is high in the rankings and would be who has Brazil beat? Nobody's answered that question. Who has Brazil beat? I'm Dillian Whyte's manager. Who has Brazil beat? For me, we're going to talk. I'm running the negotiating table, right? This is our negotiating table. We're going to negotiate. You guys want Dominic Brazil. I want my guy to fight for a world title. Let's talk this out. It's all right. You bring Dominic Brazil to the table. What's he bringing to the table? Who has Dominic Brazil beat? And why do I have to fight him? I'm the WBC silver champion. I hope I pull more rank than him. By right, me being WBC silver champion gets me ahead of the mandatory because I'm silver champion. I should be automatically in line. That's how the silver championship used to work. Unknown T. Jennings, the second tier, a great sparring partner. Unknown says Unknown T. Right. That's why you're unknown. Fury is going to whoop Deontay's butt in a box. Boring 12-round fast. Okay. Hey, bro, Justin. Yes, Alan Reed from Round for Round Boxing. Good seeing the room, Reedy. If we keep things logic, then we shouldn't complain if these sanctioning bodies bring out more belts. I thought we wanted less belts and one champ per division. As boxing fans, mate, you are living in the 1980s. You're living in the 1970s. You know, we're in 2018. Them days when Muhammad Ali had one belt, them days are done. Them days are done. Forget it. It ain't happening no more. You know, you probably get more belts. The WBC gold belt. And remember, Suleiman brought out another belt the other day for Golovkin and Canelo. Was it the diamond belt or the I don't know, the OPEC belt? I don't know. But you saw another belt. So, mate, it's not happening. Forget it. And as long as the casuals dominate the market, the casuals don't know the left foot from the right foot. So, if Hearn says your left foot, your right foot, and your right foot, your left foot, casuals will take that. And that's where the comment comes from. I think Barry Hearn or Eddie said it, that boxing fans are clowns and not to be taken seriously. That's why. Dillian Whyte has made millions versus Parker on pay-per-view. The next logical step for him thus is Manuel Shah for the WBA world title. They can make the Chisora Whyte fight later, and after he takes the WBA. But thank you so much, sir. Somebody's seeing the light. Fury just slipped it in there. No, Whyte versus Miller. Miller, another one. Who was Miller for? Again, I'm at the table. I'm negotiating for Dillian Whyte. Who is Miller for? It's a name. Who's he for? Miller's so great. Why didn't he fight Pulev? He skipped out to fight Pulev to go and fight Thomas Adamek. Don't talk about Big Baby Miller to one side. They say, that's the negotiating table. I say, Big Baby Miller, door open. Who have you fought? Who have you fought? How many belts you got? I said, go out and fight somebody. I'll come back and talk to you later. Boom, door shot. That's it. That is it. That's the conversation for Big Baby Miller. I'm at the negotiating table with my man, Dillian Whyte. So there you go. Who has Jennings beat? Unknown T. I think you just come in to have a discussion, a debate. Who has Jennings beat? On Jennings' way up, he beat Arthur Spilker at the time, who was unbeaten. I believe Spilker was unbeaten when Jennings fought him. Yeah, he beat Arthur Spilker, if I remember. He did beat Arthur Spilker. And Jennings, remember, you talk about Jennings. I'm not making excuses. Jennings had very little amateur career. Turns pro. And he's done well for himself, Brian Jennings. And he's only been beaten by two of the best fighters in the world. Got beat by Luis Ortiz. And he got beat by Vladimir Klitschko. One's going to go down in the Hall of Fame. And the other guy is considered one of the best fighters in the world. So that's who he got beat by. That's how you judge how good Brian Jennings is. Guys, he got beat by. He got beat by Klitschko. That was an inexperienced Brian Jennings. And he got beat by Ortiz. He got rushed into the rematch, into that fight with Ortiz. So really, truly, Jennings is a good fighter. Miller, another big lump. Good fight. He gets 12 rounds. Hard fight. Don't need it. Jennings beat no one recently. Just being on BWTM a bit. Oh, Ruben Guerrero. Mate, you know, there's a reason why every show you get. Look, bro, just go and take a time out for a second. Just chill out. Yeah? Take a chill out. I think the last time he fought Dimitrenko. I know you might not have paid for your satellite dish, but he fought Dimitrenko the other day. So that was a decent win for Brian Jennings. Actually, you know what? Excuse me 1 second, people. Something I need to do. I won't be long. Keep your comments coming. I'm back now. Right. So he deserves a fight with Whyte for beating Spilker. I'd like to see, watch this. I said if Dillian Whyte becomes WBA champion, he can make a first or second defense against Brian Jennings in America. Please listen to what I'm saying. I think you're just coming here to have an argument, I think. Okay. The belt thing is all messed up. Eubanks was IBO and people refused to call him a champion. But if pay attention, the same IBO is included when describing Pac-Man as an 8-time world champion. Why? I agree with you there. I totally agree with you. That's why when people are saying he weren't a world champion, they consider him world champion. People pick and choose when it's a world champion, not world champion. The IBO, fair play to the IBO, they usually recognize their IBO, their basis was of guys who were Ring Magazine champions or unified champions or undisputed champions, all the best in the division. That's how the IBO belt used to work. Don't know what it is now, but that's how it was. So you had guys like Foreman, Roy Jones Jr., Lennox Lewis. IBO was a belt that I liked because they recognized the top fight in the division. You had to be the top #1 in the division for you to get an IBO belt. What happened with the Eubank situation? And ever since then, I think they've fallen down the whole route of just making money. So that's it for the IBO. Ruben got KO'd. Go get him, Ingram. Yeah, we won't be seeing Ruben again. His channel's gone. What's happening? Swearing? No, I just somebody that needs to be removed from my presence. Nightbot, yes. If you do spam with, if you do caps with Nightbot, Nightbot doesn't like cap locks, so don't use cap locks. It's considered shouting to Nightbot. Whyte has headlined and sold out the O2 arena twice in the last 2 fights as an A-side. Whyte has beat 2 former world champions back-to-back and has sold 420,000 pay-per-view buys. Now get him Shah WA belt. There you go. That is it. That's all I got to say on the matter. Thank you very much. BPM. Thank you. Somebody sees the light and sees sense. That's what I take to the negotiating table. Not Big Baby Miller, not Dominic Brazil. Who those 2 guys fought of recent times? Big Baby Miller shows you about Big Baby Miller. He's not going to fight Pulev. He's going to go and fight Thomas Adamek. Didn't fancy it. Eddie Hearn is son of an accountant. Whyte will fight AJ after Povetkin. That's massive. Ingram, Brazil has beat nobody. He don't deserve the fight. He has no credit, and Dillian shouldn't fight him. But it's only to clear up the mandatory situation, so WC can't screw Dillian again. They're going to screw Dillian again anyway. BPM talk sense. Good fight, Shah. There, see? That's what I've been saying. He's only BPM is just repeating what I've just been saying. Okay. That's people's thought process. But, of course, they can screw him at any time they want. Exactly. So, as Dillian Whyte's negotiator, his manager, having Dillian Whyte's best interest at heart, Dillian Whyte should fight Manuel Shah or Trevor Bryant, win the interim title. Next fight, guaranteed. He signs the contract. The contract should be signed as, I fight Trevor Bryant, but guaranteed I fight Manuel Shah in my next bout. There's the extra fight, the extra round you get against Trevor Bryant. You then fight Manuel Shah for the heavyweight championship of the world. That's what I want. And if I can get to Manuel Shah before that, that's what I want. I'm looking forward to the next few months, plenty of boxing, and got cash on Huey. I believe Huey is the fight too. Right, I need to make dust for here, people, because we've got a round for round show to do. So I gotta get myself going. Right. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, as always. Ruben Guerrero, you're not welcome on the show. Because all you do is just come and try and troll, so you're not welcome. And that's that. I'm looking forward to okay, great stuff. So thank you all so much, as always, for being on the show. We appreciate you. All fun and games. He still needs a bigger boat. He makes sense. He makes good jaws, but teeth ain't sharp enough to beat AJ or Wilder. He beat Shah though. Ingram can't get White can't get a bigger fight at Christmas for a pay-per-view than Chisora. Shah's tied up, and the other guy you mentioned for interim could work, but Chisora makes more money, as we all know. And if he gets chinned by Chisora, what happens? No. Who cares about Shah? White could get more credit beating Brazil. Who has Brazil beat? White has just topped the O2 in 2 pay-per-view fights back-to-back. Who has Brazil fought recently? Name me the former world champions he's fought. 2 former world champions he's fought. Name me the last 2 guys that Dominic Brazil has fought. I want to hear who they are. Who are the last 2 guys Dominic Brazil has fought? And then the last 2 guys world ranked that Dillian Whyte has fought. Where was Josie Parker ranked in the world? And where was Lucas Brown ranked in the world? And then where were the 2 last guys that Brazil fought? Don't talk to me about Dominic Brazil. Don't talk to me about damn Dominic Brazil. You guys that keep repeating this stuff, you're like sheep. You're like, you can't think for yourselves. You hear something in the media and you think, yeah, that's right. We don't think logically out of it. Who has Dominic Brazil fought and beaten the last 2 fights? This is running a negotiating table. This ain't no internet chat. This is constructive stuff. Money involved. People's lives are involved. People's lives at risk. You don't play boxing. You don't play football. Who has Dominic Brazil fought? And who's he beat? I have the WBC silver champion. Why the hell am I going to fight Dominic Brazil? Dominic Brazil is beneath me because I've got the belt. The only thing I should do is look it up. And the only look it up is Wilder. That's it. That's the only fight I should be interested in the WBC. I can't get that fight. I'm moving to the WBA. I'm looking to fight for Char. Joshua's tied up. Wilder's tied up. Go to Char. That's it. Why are you fighting Chisora? To get possibly clipped by Chisora and knocked out by Chisora? And then what happens? All that hard work, all that stuff you've been doing gets taken away from you by one shot. Look at the attack and fight. Do you really want that? So Whyte can be beating the crap out of Chisora and then boom, one shot. Do you really want that? No, you don't want that. You don't need that. If you want to fight Chisora and that big fight, it becomes huge. If you beat Char, you become WBA champion and you defend the WBA title against Dereck Chisora. That makes money sense. WBA regular is a real world title. That's the same belt Thurman held while Mayweather was super champion. Same belt GGG held while Sturm was super. Same belt Triller held in Hopkins unification. Tell them, BPM. Tell them. If Whyte does the April date, hopefully none of this matters unless he loses Chisora. Salute BWTM. Salute to you too. It's literally Chisora Miller for experts for Dillian. Chisora is easier paid out. Why are we fighting Miller? What? Who has Miller beaten? Why are you fighting Miller? No. Who's Shah fought? I don't care who Shah's fought. I just want the belt. Forget Shah. Who's Shah fought? Well, let's see who's fought. He's fought Klitschko. He's fought Povetkin. He's fought Breedis. I take it you need to go and look at BoxRec, my friend. To Mark. School and family. It's not for Shah. It's not about who Shah's fought. It's about who Shah should fight, and he should fight Dillian Whyte. I swear you guys need educating. You know what? You spend too much time listening to Sky Sports. I suppose you some of the guys that actually believed that Mayweather was going to get beat by Conor McGregor, right? Yeah. Some of you are sitting there listening to this now. Who has Shah fought? It doesn't care who Shah's fought. Shah is the world champion. Oh, my Lord. I'm out. I'm gone. I'm done. I'm done. It's not about Brazil personally. Who has Brazil fought? He's fought nobody. How? What? Okay, wait. This is the logic. You're the WBC silver champion. Why do you fight the guy below you? To prove that you're above him? That sounds like garbage to me. That doesn't make sense. Well, in that case, then, instead of going to university, go back to kindergarten school. Don't go to university, go to kindergarten school. I tell you what, the money you're getting paid at the moment in your job, all right? Forget that money. Go back and get paid how you got paid 10 years ago. Get paid how you got paid when you were a little kid. Get paid at $4.50 an hour. Do that. It don't make sense. But some of these, the logic by some of these people in boxing don't make no sense whatsoever. That's why you get situations like David Price. Absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense you guys talk. Fight Brazil. Why? Well, it's not to do with Brazil actually fought anyone decent. It's actually to the fact that, well, it shows the rankings. What? If he's not going to get a fight and he's WBC silver champion and he's not going to get a fight against Wilder because Wilder's fighting Fury, then obviously that's the bigger fight. That takes precedent. But other than that, you know, if you're going to get to fight Dillian Whyte when there's a whisper you could fight Fury, you take the Tyson Fury fight, right? Clearly. But why would you put yourself in a position to fight a guy who you possibly could get beat against, and lose all that opportunity, all that hard work for a world title fight? You see, you guys out there sit behind a keyboard, so you don't appreciate the hard work and slug and the guts and the determination and having to pull yourself away from your family to get yourself in a position to fight. He's like, oh, you fight Dominic Brazil. And if you beat Dominic Brazil, yeah, well, AJ beat him. That's what you say afterwards. Why? You were the same guys that said Luis Ortiz should fight Deontay Wilder. I told you, it don't prove anything. He beats Ortiz. Ah, well, you know, Ortiz is an old man. Guys, come on, man. Guys are funny. It's nothing to do with Sky Sports. It's about a fight I would rather see. If you'd rather see it, then good. I don't want to see it, and I hope Dillian Whyte doesn't want to see it. Why do you want to see it? Give me one reason why you want to see Dominic Brazil. What do you know about Dominic Brazil? What exact, apart from going to BoxRec, What exactly do you know about Dominic Brazil? What makes Dominic Brazil against Dillian Whyte a good fight? If you're a fan of Dillian Whyte, if you want Dillian Whyte to become world champion, if you're not a fan, then it's not a discussion. You just want to see Dillian Whyte get beat. Why do you want Dillian Whyte to fight Dominic Brazil? And by the way, who's your favorite fighter? Just want to ask that question. I'm enjoying BWA dropping facts. What the hell is your beef? Dominic Brazil has had no fights since November 2017. Dillian Whyte has fought 3 fights, going for 4 fights since 2017, including 2 former world champions. Dominic Brazil, people, where are you? These are facts. Running a negotiating table. Dominic Brazil sits in front of me. I've got Dillian Whyte here. So, okay, right. People say that I should fight you. Why? Give me one reason why I should fight you. You got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Okay, and what? You're tall. And what? Who have you beaten? Uganio. Oh, well, who was he? Great. Okay, fine. When's your last fight? Okay. Well, since then, I fought Parker and I fought Lucas Brown. I've been active. What have you been doing? So why am I going to give you a shot at my WBC belt and my ranking? Really? I don't think so. Fury will drop the wild date on the night of the AJ Povetkin fight to upstage them. It's on 100%. I know it's on because they've actually promoted the All Access already. So that looks quite good. It's about the money that WBA isn't bringing the money. What are you talking about? Oh my Lord! So when David Haye went and fought Valiev, what the hell are you talking about? I swear. Do you really know what you're talking about? When David Haye went and fought, David Haye could have fought Klitschko for the WBC title. He left the Klitschko fight to go and fight Valiev. Oh, the WBA doesn't bring any value. So David Haye came back to the negotiating table. I'm a world champion. You're a world champion. Let's talk. Guy's got no idea about negotiations. None. None. Please say why you want to see this fight. Yeah. Hope you're good, Ingram. I have no problem admitting I hate White. Oh, there you go. There we go. If you hate White, that's fine. I'm going to watch from the beginning. I say one thing. I'll say in Brazil's favor, if I had one fight of the year, it's against Ngannou. That was drama-filled barnstormer. And so what? Why do I care? I'm at the negotiating table with Dillian Whyte. Why do I care? I don't care if it was a barnstorming fight. It had nothing to do with me. And who's Ngannou? Who did he fight? Who did he beat? I don't believe it was 2 former world champions he beat. No. Move that stuff away from me. This guy's a full-fledged casual. There you go. So that's it. There you have it. Yeah, Ngannou was a prospect. He beat a prospect. So his last fight was against a prospect, against a guy who's just filled out the O2 twice and has had 2 pay-per-view events. How many times have Brazil been in a pay-per-view event by himself? Not with Joshua. Talk to me. Come on. Who is Dominic Brazil? Who is Dominic Brazil? Oh, my Lord. All I see. Don't you want to see entertaining fights? Yeah, I do. I want to see Dillian Whyte smash up Char, bring the belt home, and defend against Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Dereck Chisora, Bryant Jennings. But I want to hear Dillian Whyte, MBE, WBA, heavyweight champion of the world. That's what I want to do as his manager and negotiating for him. That's why I'm not really his manager. I'm just doing it hypothetically if I were managing Dillian Whyte. Going through Shaw is a no-brainer for Whyte. Money is irrelevant now. Thank you. And he made his money with the Parker fight. If he made millions against the Parker fight and the Brown fight, what the hell's a big thing about dropping a little bit of money to get a world title fight? Dillian Whyte said Shah don't want no smoke. Well, I don't know about that bit. It might just be the fact he's getting paid more against Chisora, but he's been badly advised, I think. History will remember Dillian Whyte as world champion if he beats Shah, and that's all that matters. And like I said, Dillian Whyte versus Dereck Chisora, the road to nowhere. That is it from me at BWTN Sports. When I finish here, I'll be back with round for round boxing. By the way, apart from Ruben Guerrero, everyone else, much love to you all. And it's not personal. It's just being passionate about the sport that we're in. There's no offense to anybody. Even Ruben, no offense to you, son, but I just don't like you on my channel. So that's I just don't want you on my channel. That's it, period. But at the end of the day, ultimately, everyone else, much love. Appreciate you all. And WBA regular fake championship, casual in the house. Yeah, David Price and Audie Harrison. Audie Harrison became WBF champion. Remember that? Good fun, Ingram. Very funny. I know. When there's a casual in the house, you know when there's a casual in the house. They stick out like a sore thumb. I'll see you back here shortly where Henry Armstrong's grandson is going to be in the house again where we have round for round boxing. A great reveal for you all. Don't miss it. And if you don't know who Henry Armstrong is, and if you ask a silly question, who would he fought? He's the only guy in history, Henry Armstrong, to have won the featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight championships of the world, simultaneously holding all three belts, and should have been middleweight champion of the world, but be given a draw. Henry Armstrong, for me, after Sugar Ray Robinson, the greatest fighter of all times. Henry Armstrong, I salute you, sir. An inspiration, a role model, and what a great fighter, Henry Armstrong. And I have the honor, once again, of having Henry Armstrong's grandson in this room. BWTM Spots, live and exclusive, coming to you after this. Stay tuned for round boxing. Check it out, people. Round for round boxing. Get across there. And also, don't forget, www.bwtmonline.com. We're back. Round for round boxing in association with BWTM Sports. When I come back, we'll be doing that round for round show.